election was like war among them party. When I was more than sure they win already. Huston Phillips said, tell them that's the last of P&M. But when the rest complete,
Attention, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny, and if you want to get formal as Miss Jennifer Frederick, another edition of the We Talk D Ting. People have a dinner mint in my mouth, you know, long means like a dinner mint. Another edition of the We Talk D Ting. Today's Friday, people. Let me start it one time. Hi Rebecca, hi Roxanne, hi Augustus, hi Christopher, hi Miss Eva. Yes, Roxanne, it's Friday and you know we are anthem for Friday, right? So we started now because people, I ain't sticking to there are some things to talk and I need to get it out of the way. And everybody have a blessed weekend. So you know it have good news and thing as usual. This is somebody speaking about Trinidad. Because you know they say Trinidad is not a real place. This gentleman put it so beautiful. He's an artist, we know the artist that's way. Just give me a minute. Yeah, not right. I hope you all enjoy what he had to say and also agreed with him.
Trinidad and Tobago is not a real place, and they always say it in a kind of bad way, you know, when weird things happen, but in a very real way. Trinidad and Tobago is an unreal existence, and let me show you what I mean, right? The surface area of Trinidad and Tobago is about 5,000 square kilometers, right? The surface area of the entire globe is 510 million square kilometers. So we cover 0.0001% of the entire surface area of the world, right? And yet, we have the largest naturally occurring deposit of asphalt on the entire planet, right? What's the possibility, right? We call it the Pitch Lake. We have the oldest rainforest reserve, the main ridge, right? This small island of 1.4 million people, right? Which means that only 1 in every 5,000 people comes from here. Was the only nation to invent a brand new musical instrument in the 20th century. Only us, the steel pan. Every year, the population of our capital city doubles in about 3 months because people come from all over the world to take part in our festival that our ancestors brought out of themselves through the experience of slavery and our rich history to create one of the greatest festivals on earth we know as Carnival. And we get to call this place home. So if you're from Trinidad and Tobago and you're proud to be from here, put some other facts in the comments that people should know about this place. This amazing, beautiful place we call home.
Right? He could not have said it better. And I do love my country despite the things that some would say here every day, yeah? But they're not leaving. Sorry, they're not leaving. They're staying right here. I'm seeing water for Cyperia, and you know they will get the water. And they will still cost this government. And that Canada, they didn't have water. They ain't cost you. But at the end of the day, that's how the People's National Movement does operate. It's about everybody. You don't have to be a PNM. Once you're a citizen of this country, you're entitled to the benefits that this country has. So this was in Luke News 9 hours ago. It says, improve water supply for Cyperia, new projects to begin in January. Communities in Cyperia continue to face challenges with their regular pipe-borne water supply, but the Water and Sewage Authority has again assured that it's working to improve services to these areas. In an update in October, WASA said it was aware of the challenges and implementing measures to address them. The same areas continue to be affected. They are supplied by Caroni Water Treatment Plant, Point Lisa's desal transmission network, through a series of boosters and finally via the Thick Village booster. The authority said recent supply interruptions have contributed to the underlying issue of undersized pipelines serving the community. This has impacted WASA's ability to maintain the established schedules, and despite adjustments, some customers, particularly those at the extremities, continue to be negatively impacted. In the interim, the authorities has increased its water truck delivery capacity to the area and has been working closely with local government representatives to address requests for truck-borne service. Additionally, several projects will be implemented over the coming months to deliver an improved level of service to customers in these areas. These include the installation of a 1.9 km of 12-inch kilometers of a 12-inch pipeline along Antilles Trace and from the corner of Tennant Trace and Woodland Road to the corner of Antilles Trace and San Francisco Main Road, as well as 4.4 kilometers and 6-inch transmission pipeline along Woodland Road from M2 Ring Road to Tennant Terrace or Tennant Trace. These projects are scheduled to begin in January 2025. Upgrade work on the Carapal plant and drilling of 2 new wells are currently ongoing. An upgrade of the Carapal WPT and the development of 10 new wells is also scheduled, which will directly benefit all areas supplied via Thick Village Booster Station. WASA said it remains committed to working with all stakeholders and carrying out the necessary infrastructural development works to provide a reliable water supply to all customers across its distribution system. Remember, Canopus had the sister and they had the waterman Ganga sing. They say water for all. Apparently, don't my she, all of them didn't get, but they don't cost she. They don't say nothing. They just buy it and eat it. When it's time to vote, they go in and vote for she still, the rising sun. Okay. Well, you know what time it is. I'm seeing some wonderful news here. Bookseller's daughter got President's Award. And let me see what that is about. Hi, Hadara. Hi, Melka. Excuse me. So this is in the Guardian. Wish me happy. Oh my gosh. You have to just remind me. Keep it in my head. We have to wish you that, girl. Or your mad or what? Bookseller's son and hardware worker's daughter wins President's Medal 17 hours ago in the Guardian. So the children of a bookseller and a hardware worker have achieved the highest academic honor in this country, earning President's Medals excuse me, for exceptional performance in the 2024 Caribbean Advanced Alyssa Dipchan, who hopes to study international, credited their success to hard work, sacrifices, and the support of their family. Speaking about her journey shortly after the announcement, Dipchan said that the award marked the culmination of years of dedication. Raised by her grandmother, Anna Dipchan, Dipchan said her passion for subjects like Spanish, French, and geography made studying an enjoyable experience. I didn't see it as studying. It was about exploring my passion and diving deeper into it academically. It never felt like a burden, she said. Expressing joy at the help she received from her grandmother, Dipchan said, "My grandmother always taught me to do my best, not to be better than anyone else, but to give my best effort. She made countless sacrifices to support me, ensuring that I could pursue my education. She was the one picking me up and dropping me off in primary and secondary school." She said her close-knit household, which includes her father, Ricardo Dipchan, a hardware driver, and her uncles, displayed strong work ethics and inspired her to succeed. All right. So Good luck there to the two President Awards winners. This is Mohammed speaking now. Also praised his family for their support and highlighted the importance of balance, emphasizing that academic pursuits should never come at the expense of mental or physical well-being. Studying is not easy and not everyone likes to study. It is not the easiest thing to do when you can go out with your family or line with friends, he said. Mohammed said he wrote poems to de-stress, adding, I do a lot of cardio in the gym and I pick up swimming as well. I make time for family and friends to maintain balance. So he again speaking about the help he got from family and letting persons know do not study to the extent where at the end of it, your mental health is at risk. So there's a list of the persons who won, and you could go. And there are plenty. While I'm reading this, I'm seeing this like a story indeed here in some African homes, people of African descent home, where mother may be even a domestic servant or just somebody working in a store or a shop or not working at all. And father job also not a big professional kind of thing with big money, but they too would sacrifice for their children. And the children will make those necessary sacrifices to make sure that they do the best. I know of families in B-Town Gardens who would have gotten scholarships as well. So when we hear stories in the Indian community about the sacrifices they made for their children and all that, we celebrate them, but do not think that in our communities we don't have the same thing. Yeah. So I just wanted to rest that. But congratulations again. God is one of our children at the end of the day. I'm saying that I am saying that the bank has lent money to the government to treat with road repairs. And which bank is that? Oh gosh. Hi Joyson, hi Sarah, hi Shireen. Well, it remind me I had to sing some happy birthday for Miss Melka, you know. Oh gosh. Can't wish anybody else who birthday is this month because my one is next week. So Guardian, 22 hours ago, it says CAF lends TNT US 250 million for roads and schools. The Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean, that's the CAF, has approved US 250 million in financing to support two critical resilience and sustainability initiatives in Trinidad and Tobago: resilient road infrastructure and resilient educational infrastructure. In a news release, CAF said that both programs are focused on sustainable development and building resilience to the effect of climate change. CAF Executive President Sergio Diaz Granados said CAF has a long-standing fruitful partnership with Trinidad and Tobago, and we stand ready to support the nation's trust towards building resilience, which are key elements of those programs. This new initiative, or this new investment of US $250 million, will enhance climate resilient infrastructure and strengthen the teaching of Spanish as a first foreign language. We are confident this will lay the foundation for a more robust education system and prepare students for global citizens. To be global citizens. In the release, CAF explained sector-wide approach program SWAP for resilient road infrastructure with an allocation of US 150 million will strengthen the resilience of the country's road network against the impact of climate change, such as coastal erosion, flooding, and more intense rainfall patterns. The release continued. The program is aligned with TNT National Adaptation Plan and Vision 2030 strategy. The operations is expected to mitigate economic disruptions caused by extreme weather events and reduce costs linked to infrastructure damage. This program, CAF said, will be executed by the Ministry of Finance with support from the Ministry of Works and Transport. CF explained that US $100 million has been approved for resilient school infrastructure and improvement of Spanish as a foreign language in Trinidad and Tobago. These will enhance access to education by building and rehabilitating early childhood and care centers, as well as primary and secondary school infrastructure. It will also ensure that the schools identified are adapted to improve learning and outfitted with the complete equipment required for their proper functioning, CAF said. The school rehabilitation component will focus on safety, sustainability, and gender inclusion and aligns with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The promotion of Spanish language at the primary and secondary school levels is also a key element of this initiative that would increase commercial and cultural ties with the rest of Latin America, the Development Bank said. So that's some good news coming out there. And no bank ain't going to invest money in a country where nothing ain't happening. Bank don't lend you money if you can't pay back. If your portfolio ain't looking good on. So all the haters and them who just talk about this country so bad all that, the bank and them is seeing that they're lending money. And it's just for good use, for the roads we don't be complaining about, and the schools and them we don't be complaining about. So let's keep our eyes on that. I see that in the Bahamas, Papa, in the Bahamas, the government of Bahamas, let me see what them said. This was in CNC3 News, December the 5th. Bahamas rejects Trump's proposal concerning deported migrants. So the government of the Bahamas on Thursday rejected a proposal from the incoming Trump administration in the United States to take in deported migrants. As the president-elect pledges to tackle immigration once he enters office in January, Trump team has drawn up a list of countries to which it wants to deport migrants when their home countries refuse to accept them. However, the office of Prime Minister Philip David said the government had turned down a proposal from the Trump's transition team in the United States for the Bahamas to accept deportation flights of migrants from other countries. Since the Prime Minister's rejection of this proposal, there has been no further engagement or discussion with the Trump transition team, the statement added. Other countries that the Trump team is considering include Turks and Caicos, Panama, and Grenada. Well, what the Jesus I seen here? So, let me don't laugh now. America people, they put that on me. So Trump looking to get countries to send deported people when them own country don't want them back. But what the hell is this? So if them country don't want them back, them going to send them to look all the hi Shireen, Janja looking for Leroy, but he say woman in Tobago tell him, yeah, come into the address now. You know, they don't make a video to play the dragon. She is standing up with my comrade. I know her. I'm standing up with she because it's the right thing she's saying. I'm standing up with she. We come into that. So that is why America vote for under the bacchanal we're coming. All the good yes. I'm sitting in Guyana, remember everybody excited about the conversation that the President Ali is given how much $100,000 Guyanese dollars one-off payment. I know God, this government should do that when we have all those other programs I tell you about is monthly. Disability grants. You can even get disability grant, NIS, you have old age pension, you have your own pension, you have grants for children with cerebral palsy, you have grants for children who maybe Down syndrome and all that. Those things are monthly, every month. It ain't one time off every month. Anywho, so this is in Kaitio News, December the 6th, 2024, and it says, after 5 years of pumping oil, government hands Guyanese $18 and over $55 per day. The much touted $100,000 cash grant to every adult Guyanese works out to some 55 Guyanese dollar per day for the 5 years since, for the 5 years since this country has started pumping oil. Government this week rolled out a payout initiative in Region 9 and has sought to make it the centerpiece of its policy in giving back to citizens. Speaking in one of his social media commentaries this week, businessman Glenn Lal said it is an insult for Guyanese to be receiving 54 Guyanese dollars a day after 5 years of oil production here. After 5 years of ExxonMobil pumping our oil and walking away with tens of US billions, every Guyanese over 18 is set to receive just one American quota, like 25 US cents a day. Yes, that is what Ghana is worth after 5 years of pumping oil. That's right, 54 Guyanese dollars a day. $54. That can even buy a quarter pound of plantain, Lal said. Lal, a fierce critic of the lopsided oil contracts the coalition government signed with ExxonMobil signed with ExxonMobil back in, it could never be 2026. They make a mistake here, right? Lal said 100,000, which is less than US $500, is being thrown out at Guyanese after pumping of oil for 1,825 days in this country. This is what the government and opposition have reduced all of us to, with that unprecedented oil discovery made in Guyana. And to add more insult to injury, you have to join 3 lines. The 3 different dates and at 3 separate locations before you can get that $100,000. That is what the PPP is proud of, while the PNC and AFC are silent. The businessman recalled joining Mr. Ray Daggers earlier this year on a protest walk from Mollison Creek in Bois to Charity on the Essequibo coast. Lal said it was hoped that more Guyanese would have joined the walk to overturn that contract to get what we truly deserve. But just a handful of persons joined and walked with us. Today, had you raised your voices and marched with us in droves to bring about that change, all Guyanese over 18 would not have had to join 3 lines at 3 different times to collect $100,000. He added, you didn't have time then to join that walk, but now you're finding time to line up in that hot sun or pouring rain to register as a citizen, then line up again to collect the check, and then go back to the bank to line up again and to cash the check. Telling citizens that they deserve better, Lal said, this is not what your children deserve, and certainly it is not what our ancestors fought for. And until you really stand up and raise that voice to demand a referendum before any election, so that you and I can decide what deal we can get from that oil, $54.25 US cents a day will be the reality. Let's see how much more. Okay, it's nearly to the end. The administration has prioritized public servants and pensioners over the last several days, with registration schedules for National Insurance Scheme and old age pensioners disseminated to the public via the media. Moreover, public registration for the cash grant commenced on Tuesday in several areas, including Region 4 and outlying areas. The government has outlined a 4-step process for the initiative, which begins with a registration exercise comprising each community of having a registration scheme. Then technical teams with pre-programmed tablets will be dispatched to gather persons' data. The second stage of the verification of the registrant, with the next stage being the cutting of checks and then distribution of persons 18 and over. Jesus Lord. Government 100,000 cash grant initiative was announced by President Ifran Ali in October, and every Ghanaian citizen 18 and over will receive the payout. Vice President Barra Jagdeo last Thursday announced that while the government is looking to distribute 100,000 one-off cash grant to public servants and pensioners first, not every citizen will receive theirs before Christmas. Jagdeo said, what I can say to Ghanaians is that they will get it. Not everybody will get it before Christmas. And a lot of people ask, oh, will I get it before Christmas? But I wouldn't. But I would say to people, you still will get it, and it might come in good after Christmas, less than $500 US. Vice President said that he had previously stated since the cash grant initiative was first announced in October that the process would take the government about 5 months to complete. The president said that we are trying to hurry up this to see if we can complete at least the public servants and the pensioners before the end of the year. We may be able to do that, and then a number of other people who are registered. Last Wednesday, the Committee of Supply approved 30.5 billion to cater for the distribution of the one-off 100,000 cash grant to citizens 18 years above and above. This is expected to cover the first phase of the distribution and includes public servants and pensioners. Jagdeo also disclosed that the government is aiming to distribute a cash grant to about 300,000 persons before the end of the year. Jagdeo noted that the 2025 budget, which is expected to be passed by February, will cater for the second phase of the distribution of the 100,000 Guyanese dollars. And then we can seek to appropriate the balance of the money. We anticipate that it will be about another 30 billion, because we think about 600,000 adults you have in the country, or just over that, the vice president stated. The vice president noted that the government anticipates that in the future there will be similar grants, and as such, he noted that once the government completes the database of the distribution, the future distribution will become easier. Once this initiative is completed, 60 billion will have been placed in the hands of citizens across the country. I read the entirety to just let you all know that it ain't all right in Guyana, and this 100,000 Guyanese dollars sounding a lot. So Glenn Lal, who is an activist, have always been speaking out about the lopsided gas deals that Guyana is in with ExxonMobil. He's telling you exactly how much money it is worth. But in Trinidad and Tobago, people getting a grant every month, old age pension grant, and you don't have to work at all. It comes every month once you're 65. So let me continue, Papayo. Again, I'm calling for Tobago and the Education Secretary and that short one day for infrastructure, who has got on very stupid. So I just call him the stupid looking man. I think his name is Trevor James. I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard the woman come back and say she get the school or not. But please get a school for the children who have hearing impaired, and for the teacher who is doing human service teaching children who are hearing impaired and those who have other challenges. She have 20 children ready to come in the school and have no place for them to go. And all they're not taking them into the normal school, all they're not going to do the work she's doing. Help that woman get the school, please. So let me continue, Papa. Tobago. So I'm trying to understand. This was Faith B. Israel and Farley Augustine talking about the autonomy bill.
A couple little things that we need tweaked. And if we get those things tweaked, we'll be good to go. We'll be really, really happy with going forward, with continuing on this journey with this country known as Trinidad and Tobago.
And so I say to you, Tobago, that these bills fall woefully short. Yeah. So we are not arguing and saying throw away the bill that you have before Parliament. That's not our argument. Our argument is you have something for the Parliament. That is a good starting point. Don't throw it away. Just put in these things and make these slight changes and we're good. That's what we're saying. Very good.
Then we're saying the bills are decent, but there are a couple little things that we need tweaked. And if we get those things tweaked, we'll be good to go. We'll be really, really happy with going forward, with continuing on this journey with this country known as Trinidad and Tobago.
Right? So the issue they had is some little things could be tweeted and like a thing. So what's the problem now? That Farley talking that he want to go international. Farley and them does live in their own head, yes? So Farley want to go international. After they say, it ain't nothing much wrong with the bill, Just a little tweak here and what have been presented to Parliament is just a little tweak here on. The last time I heard they working on it, what's the problem now that Farley is now saying he wants international? This was yesterday in the Guardian. Augustine threatens to seek international help for greater autonomy. Chief Secretary Fadi Augustine has threatened that Tobago will ask the world for help if the central government refuses to grant the island greater autonomy. Speaking at the Tobago's Day Award before diplomats and ambassadors at the Shopa Cultural Complex last night, that was yesterday, Augustine said Tobago will fight for its right to self-determination under international law. Speaking directly to the diplomats seated at the front, Augustine said, "We are prepared to engage you in this, our fight for the right of self-determination in accordance with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights." He made it clear that Tobago demands equal status with Trinidad. 1.5 million in Titi and about 65,000 in Tobago. The Piarco Regional Corporation have I think the same amount of people as those in Tobago. So how you want to be on an equal footing with Trinidad? I don't. He made it clear that Tobago demands equal status with Trinidad, a federal system of governance, clearly defined boundaries in the Constitution, and full control over decisions affecting its people. Any island, any people, any nation, no matter how small, should never be deprived of its right to seek self-determination for such a long time. He encouraged Tobagonians to stay determined, saying that this is the time to push for lasting changes that will shape the island's future. Careful what you wish for. So, Fali, wait is it? I'm curious. Is it independence or internal self-governance, or what exactly it is you want? Because, okay, I am not a geologist. I'm not an economist. I'm not a international lobbyist. Nothing. I'm just asking questions. So, Tobago with about 65,000 people, nothing wrong in wanting to have greater autonomy with regards to what's happening. You have the THA Act, and apparently you'll find that it's self-sufficient. Okay. But when you want to have your own by yourself alone and given all them orders that you want this and boundary line, you think they will go and take a line or build a wall and say this is Trinidad water and this is Tobago water, and because, excuse me, it has some oil right here, that is your own soul, and then you want the money for it. Okay, do you have the infrastructure to drill for oil? Do you have the human capacity to do the kind of work that it would take if this route, because somehow it's not sounding again like autonomy, it's sounding like independence, or they want just to cut away somebody from Trinidad. Okay, but Tobago, all they go walk out, yes. Wherever all they want for themselves, I want for them. And I hope what they get, when they get what all they want, is really what all they want in truth. That's all I would say. They're confusing me. I was looking at things that we're talking about countries who looking to get self-governance, integration with an independent state. A country can attain self-governance by integrating with an independent state. Some factors that can be considered when determining whether a country is ready for self-governance include the political advancement of the population's opinion on the status of the territory, geographical considerations such as whether the territory is separated from the capital by land, sea, or natural obstacles. And the United Nations has played a role in the process of decolonization. So that is what he was talking about when he talking to the diplomats and them. It's also speak about free association with an independent state, A country can also attain self-government by free associating with an independent state. It speaks about negotiated agreement. In some cases, indigenous governments can negotiate agreements that give them decision-making powers. These agreements can include how to protect their culture, educate their students, and manage their land. Although let Farley tie all up a chopper talk, and fronting, like he know what the hell he talking about, and it's not just delaying tactic, Excuse me, next thing all end up in a kind of. Let me continue, is that Papa? I see a man jailed for raping his daughter. Good riddance. Good riddance. I just going to read a little piece, and I hear they saying nothing but the child who died in the house was autistic, 11 years old, and they left her alone in the house, and she was burnt and died in hospital, living with a man, 50-something, and a next man in the house also. I ain't hear nothing about that. Her life is just as important as Jaden Lalchan, God rest his soul. So that's on December 6, 2024. David died to serve 17 years in prison for raping teen daughter. A 54-year-old man from David. Why you not call his name? Call his name, because it leaves us to think David, maybe it's a person of Indian descent. A 54-year-old man from David, convicted of repeatedly raping his 14-year-old daughter, has been sentenced to a little under 17 years in prison. The man, who cannot be named to protect the identity of the victim, was convicted of 2 incest charges and 1 grievous sexual assault charge at the end of his judge-alone trial before Justice Katian Waterman Lalcho last month. He was sentenced on Wednesday. I hope that Watson Solomon trial is also coming up. Justice Waterman Lalcho began with a starting sentence of 19 years for the incest charge and 16 years for the grievous sexual assault, before deducting 1 year based on the fact that he had not committed any criminal offenses since being charged in 2007. Also, there's still hope because Duke was charged in 2016. Then she deducted the 1 year and 3.5 months he spent in prison before being granted bail and being convicted. He is expected to be released after serving 16 years, 8 months, and 18 days in prison, as Justice Waterman Lalchu ordered the sentences to run concurrently. As part of his sentence, the man was ordered to report to the penal police station within 7 days of his eventual release to register as a sex offender. He would then be required to report to the police once every 3 months for 10 years after that. Justice Waterman Lalchu also ordered that the police commissioner publish information relative to his conviction on the public sex offender website. So then why are you saying that all you don't want to say name to protect the victim? So when his name go on the sex registry, we ain't gonna still see it. Justice Waterman Lalchu also ordered the police commissioner to publish information done. According to the evidence presented in his trial by prosecutor Dylan Martin, the man was accused of attacking the teenager multiple times over the course of a week in 2007 after a mother moved out of the family home because he physically assaulted the mother. The first incident occurred in May 12, 2007. The teenager was sleeping in a room with her younger sister, and her father woke up and raped her. Right, I've read this already, so he actually got sentenced now. The child come and replace the wife. The following day, the man was watching a pornographic movie in his room and invited the teenager to join him. He reportedly asked her to have sex, but she pulled away and went outside. Later that night, he forced her to perform oral sex on him. The third and final attack came almost a week later when the man again raped her in her bedroom. The attack only ended when the house phone rang. Then the girl reported the attacks to her mother. Her mother confronted the man, who admitted he had sexually assaulted their daughter. However, he allegedly claimed that he did it because he mistook her. Yes, that's the man who mistook his daughter for his wife. Right? Lock up his ass, 17 years. He should get some stroke in his ass too. Dirty stink man. And it's a man of Indian descent. I remember reading this story. That's why I say they didn't put his name, but we could say logically if somebody in Indian descent. When they say incest, rape, and those things, those are high and they can't deny it. They can't deny it. It's very high within the Indian community.
So,
unfortunately. But let's save our children, all our daughters. So Sports City responded. Somebody put up a picture of some toilets from Hazy Crawford. First, people like Bacchanal and thing. Before they started fixing place, they put it up and have people go look at the state of Hazy Crawford thing. The Sports City had to come out and say them as old pictures. Because I know that they renovated and thing Hazy Crawford and stuff because we having those games coming down here next year. But right now you see everything is a big jumpy thing, yes, Papa. Everybody just jumping out and putting up all kind of thing to get this kind of people anxious and angry and not taking into consideration as people emotions they're playing with. I see the Minister of Finance also had to come out and again denounce what Colonel Prasad Bissessa would have said about the airport. The N.R. Robinson Airport, he brought his receipts. Unlike one of the reporters, I think Vushri or something, so is she named, reading from a document. And when she was asked to get the document, that is from the opposition leader, when the minister asked her, what is the date, and it have no date, but she reading all these things from a document. And the minister will tell she, that company has been reporting to him monthly, he have all the documents there. And he came again today and showed them he had the documents, so Kamala lying. But you see, the thing is, people that feel Kamala Prasad Bissessa and the UNC care, they don't care. They just tell lies and move on as nothing. It don't matter to them. They're just lying and moving on, and who believe, but it's out there. And have people turn up and believe must be true. I know the government in a position where they always have to be coming to defend the position because they can't leave it alone. Hey. I want to go directly to something here because it's important. So this is a comrade from the Union in Tobago. And Leroy Baptiste went to their workplace and was speaking to them. And I want a little listen to what this comrade is saying, and then I'm going to play you something else and tell me if she said or did anything wrong or disrespectful.
That way, then we have to come up with ways and means to negotiate properly, right? We can't be lazy. We cannot be lazy, right? I listened to your speech in Labor Day, right? Saying negotiating so that we can exactly hold them out and hold team UNC. That is wrong. Don't use PSA as a political platform. Amen. Don't do it. Don't do it. Tell us the way forward. The way forward. But even trouble, you have to follow. When the election comes, UNC is going there for years again. We can't last. Come on now, they better last. We better last. And the thing is it, right? The other unions accept it for ourselves. All of them accept it and bring our position and bring our position. And we want to accept it for ourselves. No, please. Politics into PSA. It is wrong.
All she's saying, don't bring the politics into PS, it is wrong. And the fact that all those other unions would accept the 4%, it weakens our position. And she's saying a fact. What is so wrong with what she said? Because I told you all, Leroy Baptiste went in our ministry in this country, and he was telling them about UNC and about the swing vote and this vote and hold the belly until next year UNC come back, they go at 10%. And he was doing that. So the sister just saying that, and he stand up there like a little tortoise. But I tell you, this man sick. He's sick. Nasty. He stand up there quiet. Why you not answer she back? So here when I send out one of the puppets, because he just had to send out people. He just had to get somebody to come to talk. He can't talk for himself. So he sent this comrade out who he asked from the elbow to play chastising his sister.
Good afternoon, comrades. At a meeting earlier on today, a meeting which I attended, it was found that the behavior of a UPO operative, United Public Officers operative, United Public Officers candidate Ms. Erna Lynch Critchlow was disruptive and unprofessional in meeting. She used the meeting's forum to pull a political stunt, to create content for the UPO speech, to promote their propaganda and their political ideas and agenda in accepting the 4% offer. What was done by taking this action was to show a level of disrespect to the other members who would have come to that forum with a view to obtaining the necessary information about the negotiations and the way forward that was being presented by the president and other members of the executive. Despite this divisive attempt, it must be stated that the position taken by herself and her directives in no way reflects the vast membership of the Tobago members. The membership stayed and heard the conclusion of the presentation that was made by the president and agreed that the way forward, as was chosen, is one that falls in line with the ambitions of the wider membership and the executive to reject the 4%. It cannot be overstated that it is imperative that those who wish to represent in any capacity must show professionalism, must have integrity, and a commitment to the values that define our association. We therefore call on all members not to allow themselves to be distracted and to remain vigilant as we work together towards having achieved or shared goal.
So they give him his script to read. This next dirtiness. That's a dirtiness. You know Leroy Baptiste came into PSA. You know the things that they would, Leroy Baptiste and Watson Solomon do is because of them we still on 2013 salary. They didn't accept the offer in 2014, 15, 16. They didn't accept it. We could have been out at that long time. All they know the kind of character that this man is, all they coming to drag the sister. What she said that was disrespectful. She making no noise. She said don't bring the union into politics because Leroy Baptiste would have said in Faizabad, he's not dealing with this government again. He's dealing with the opposition. He went to the opposition. So I don't know what stupidness this man talking about in line with what? And the member, which man was it? WASA? WASA workers? Because the wider membership of the public service, they want the money? I don't know what's the problem. And they decide with who? He never went no general counsel to say that because Leroy Baptiste took a matter to the industrial court for judicial review. He got the judicial review. And up to now, the man didn't go back in the industrial court in front of the special tribunal. But this man, that I tell you, some of them stink. And a man like he had to be stink and dirty to be agreeing with Leroy Baptiste. Otherwise, they'll tell the comrade, when they tell you to go and make that video, because they tell you to make that video and they give him something to read. Tell them I'm not doing that because what the sister says she's not wrong. Why are you bringing PSA into politics and not only that, understand UNC marching with the unions and them tomorrow, with PSA tomorrow. All you good over yes, let them tie all you up with foolishness. I want when they're marching tomorrow, I want the members who marching in the hot sun tomorrow, or if rain fall tomorrow, ask the union leaders and them where's their salary. It is alleged that one of them his salary is $90,000 a month. One of them union leaders, it is alleged his salary is $90,000 a month. It have a next one that is alleged his salary between $83,000 to $88,000 a month. And as I always tell you, always allegedly, Liberty sold is about $50,000 a month. If all I want to talk about what the Prime Minister getting, like if we see alone getting money, and we have a listing, all the 900 senior public officers who getting the money, what they're getting on the increases and how much percentage. We want to know how much union leaders getting. Put everybody's salary on the table. Let me see who deserving it and how much all leaders get, and where's the perks all leaders get. Don't just talk about the Prime Minister one, because all they want to go into governance. That's all they want. All the talk, Roger and all of them talking, them want to be sitting in government, them don't want to be no union leader. Because union leaders are setting issues on time for the members that deal with grievances and have a machinery in place to treat with those things. Them don't have them thing. Them marching for their own and they're using the workers, playing with the mind. To have them walking in the sun. Why the union leaders don't go and march for we? Let we sit down in home and all they come out, all the union leaders come out together in solidarity and march for all your members. Leave we alone. All they're gonna never do, what I want you to come to march for all yourself. And so I'm representing my 10,000 members. I'm representing my 5,000 members. Come out and march, come out in the hot sun and march and sing We Shall Overcome. What I want the poor workers who get next to nothing and all they eating all their money every month, all the children living nice, studying all over nice, all over nice car, this car, whatever it is. We don't have that luxury. Imagine it is alleged a union leader getting $80,000, $90,000 a month. You know? My salary is $6,800 a month. I load on the range. And then some of them who get, they never went nowhere and study nothing, they never pass in the name. They just get in the union movement from a long time because them men almost in 100 years old. So they was almost back in the day with Butler and them. Yeah? You think it's easy? But fooling people to come out to tell you about Dr. Rowley's salary. When Kamala getting a bigger percentage increase than Dr. Rowley, but they ain't studying Kamala salary because they want she back inside. They want a weak woman. They want a woman who they can advantage because they say in the union movement, 1 out of 3 women is abusing the union movement. So they want a weak woman they can advantage. They want nobody strong. They want a strong man. They don't want pia man. You see man like Padat and them, they like them kind of man. They don't want a strong man. And the worst thing is when they see African men fighting down a next African man for a weak woman. All your good, yes? So, while I'm saying all this, people, because today I'm not going to stay overly long, I saw a comrade of mine, one named Oral Sanders, would have done an interview with a podcaster called Fearless Warriors on Bounce Up Central. And I was informed about this. I decided to listen because sometimes I don't like to just hear what people say, and I listen. And I would say here, no, I don't have a problem, nobody speaking about me. All I would tell you, talk the truth. I don't have a problem if I say something and it is wrong and I find out to come and correct it or tell somebody sorry. Them things don't bother me. Because at the end of the day, that's the kind of principles that I hold. Right? So that brother, in all I listen, he would have questioned my character and my integrity. He questioned my character because of the fact I no longer support him. Because I used to be on his team on 2 occasions, United Public Officers. On 2 occasions, we would have 2017 and 2020, I think it was, I was on his team. And before that, I was on a team called Phoenix, and he was a part of that. So I would have taken part in about 3 PSA elections. We didn't have one in 2017 because an injunction was held and whatever. And I was supporting the brother. And I supported the brother on the basis that when I was at Cipriani Labour College with my 6 other colleagues, when we had to do our OJT in PSA, he was my supervisor, and about 3 or 4 of us, our supervisor at the time. He was one of the youngest persons who Ms. Baptiste Primus brought on contract to work in PSA from St. Anne's Hospital. He's an assistant nurse. And he was a grievance officer, and he was one of the top recruiters to bring in members into the PSA. You can't take that away from him. So based on that, and then he was our supervisor, so he would carry us and show us, how to treat the grievances and all that. So when I finished my associate degree, and he was no longer in the PSA, I didn't know why at the time. And then when in 2009, there was a PSA election, and everybody knew that he was the presidential candidate. So once I saw he going up and I saw the other members on the team, I was like, yeah, because I know him. I know if he saw PSA and wherever it is, and but Madam Baptiste Primus would have bring him to PSA to work and all that. It means that she sees something, but I didn't know the backstory to all that. So I gave him that support, and I supported him because I felt, yeah, he had it. When we went to vote in 2009, when I look at the ballot papers, the first time I voted in a PSA election, I saw Watson Juke named to the top. And I was like, but where Oral Sanders? So when I started to look down, I see some names and all, then I see he as General Secretary. So it had me confused. So I wasn't sure if I could have voted for one and then vote for this and that. I told myself, I want no chance that team don't get in. So I voted for the whole slate. And the first time I voted for Watson Juke, I didn't know who that man was. And a lot of my comrades who went to vote, when they finished voting, come and they say, who is Watson Juke? I say, I have no idea. I don't know who that man is. I say all this to say, so he always had my support there. There was an industrial relations officer called Nixon Benedict Kalinda. He was a part of that team. And when Oral would have left, I will come to that soon because I want to ask him some questions to answer, because if you're going at my character and my integrity, then you need to bring things to show. And he would have mentioned my support now for Nixon Kalinda. So it's based on that you're questioning my integrity and my character. So great. So that's why I'm explaining this, and then I want to go into the questions I want to ask him. So after he left PSA, he was the General Secretary. So there was no General Secretary. Deputy General Secretary was a man named Randy Bidesi. I understand Randy did not want to act in the position of the General Secretary, so the space was open there. Nixon Kalinda was an industrial relations officer, and it came up before General Council, and General Council approved it that he would be appointed as the General Secretary, right? That is how I know it went. So Oral is questioning how Nixon Kalinda became the General Secretary of PSA, and it's just like how it happened with Leroy Baptiste. I say once you start to conflate things and embellish things to make a point, then you never had a point, because it's not the same thing. So I continued. During that time, Nixon Kalinda, and there were two fractions at that time. I used to be across with the women. It had the women at PSA. I used to be across by OWTU. We separate from day. And it had Nixon Kalinda and Watson Juke and them across in PSA building. So it had a talking. I didn't really know the full workings. I was young in the thing. I used to just be intermingling, right? And an incident happened where it was captured on the newspapers, Nixon Kalinda with a baton and like pushing down a woman or some like hitch or something. So it's a still picture. So there must have been an incident before that. Based on that, they would have taken him to court, that and some other matters, and he would have been suspended from his workplace. I never agreed with what had happened in terms of the picture and then walking across the road with the bag of money and all that. So Nixon Kalinda was not somebody I used to support. I supported Oral Sanders. But then I seen end up playing off in 2020 elections. I think it's 2020 or 21 elections. And I had opportunity to speak to Nixon Kalinda. But when we were doing general campaigning, because PSA election is just like a general election, we have to go and campaign and thing and the whole works. I would always tell people, Nixon Kalinda is a man who could run PSA, but he had baggage with him, and the baggage was talking about a picture with He walking across the road, the money, and the one with the battle. I used to always say, you see them thing? I said, unless he could get rid of that, or send the absence of that. But he's a man could make a good leader for the PSA, a good president. I always say that. So when I end up in talking with Kalinda, I asked him out. I said, I want you to explain to me what happened with that situation there and the going across the road with the money. I said, those things, it's on my mind. I need to get it clear. He explained those matters in the court. At that time, he had won about 9 of the matters, waiting to win another 2, whatever. It is eventually won all the matters in court. After about 11 years, he has been reinstated in his workplace. He's an estate police, and he has been given whatever promotion he's entitled to and whatever vacation, all that. He explained the situation with the money, and I fully understand. Anybody want to know, ask, I ain't feel to go through all that, but the point is, he was able to satisfy me logically with the explanation he gave. And because I've always thought he could be one, could run the PSA, because that was not baggage no more to me, I give him my support. So I'm supporting Nixon Benedict Kalinda. And I guess for that, Oral Saunders is questioning my integrity and my character. I explained to you what. So now there is a team. Nixon Kalinda always had a team called Team Sentinel. Oral had a team called United Public Officers. As I say, I was a part of the team. But when I am retired next in the public service, and a couple of my comrades who were leaders of their teams, they too retired and all that. And we watching the scene and we know election was going to be this year. So I reach out to a comrade and tell him, I say, hey, what's going on now? Let me try and get Nixon Kalinda and Oral Saunders to the table to talk now. Because them is the 2 men kind of left standing a kind of way, because you know we live in the service just now and thing. The comrade say, I won't call them name yet. The comrade say, sister, if you could get them together, no scene. I said, oh, I could do it. I called Oral, I talked to him. He said, no problem. I called Kalinda, I talked to him. He said, no problem. And we started to have meetings. Now, Oral Saunders making it look like if it was a big thing and it was PSA thing. No, it was not. It was 8 people. Out of the 8 people, 3, 1, 2 retiring this year. Me, next year, God spare. Another one of them used to be a public officer, but she's now in the private sector, but she was given support. And the 3 others. So it was Kalinda, Oral, and another public officer. So the next 5 of us was either retired, or going to retire. So when he's talking on his show, that we was having meetings, and I was the moderator, making it seem that it was some kind of big, it was not a team we were forming. We just wanted the 2 brothers to come together and talk, and they could go now after, and they could do what they had to do, because we're not going up for the election. But he making it seem as though real people vote for him. It was 6 people who voted, 4 vote for him, 2 vote against him, and it was rigorous examination. It was just we asking them questions, whatever, the 6 people, and it wasn't no big PSA executive or nothing. It was an ordinary meeting between myself as members. So he making it seem as if it has a big scene, and I was the moderator, and after they vote for Kalinda, after they vote for Kalinda didn't want no part. And let me tell you why people just pull away from Oral Saunders. When we were going to have the meeting, Nixon Kalinda found a place for us to have the meeting. That day we organizing to go to the meeting. Kalinda called me to tell me which part we was having the meeting. The people said, oh, we come there. We had told all of the 8 of us that we're not going to the media and this kind of thing. We having a little meeting in private till when we finish everything, whatever it is, we go have a conversation with the media. Oral Saunders went and tell the media and tell them we having meeting in the place. I went to the only place, there's a place on Pembroke Street. The media called the place and tell them they here time PSA meeting, and the people say, what? Because they know PSA people just get on. They said they want no PSA thing here, whatever. We didn't have nowhere to have the meeting. So I call everybody and tell them no meeting, because bam, they called me back and said they find a space by next comrade. When we went to the meeting, because I was real upset, I called Oral and said, how you could do that? We tell you, this is not, we now going to have the first meeting, you calling media and thing already, boy. What are you doing that for? When he came to the meeting, he apologized. He didn't go do it again. But that is the individual that he is. Like he can't resist it. He must run like water. Yeah? As things ain't going his way, he had to run to media. Media, he's one of them, right? So I'm saying all this is at the end of the day. He's questioning my integrity and my character. I have no problem. He's even questioning my mental state because he's an assistant psychiatric nurse. So he knows everything about mental stability. And he must analyze me, and I must see, was he patient, or I must say, go sentence, and he admitted me or something. So he knows my mental state, right? So I want to ask him this question because I intend to stay long time. I want to ask him this question. I want when he responds to my questions that he don't reflect, that he don't jalabuster, and I want him to resist the urge to resort and to add homonyms, and attack. I want him to be truthful and stick to the facts. I don't want him to go all over the place in talking, because when I talk, I don't talk with water in my mouth, and I can recall what I say. And me have nothing out there that I'm afraid of somebody tell me about it. I always try to conduct myself in a particular way. Yeah? So I'm going to ask him this question since he want to attack my character, my integrity, simply because I am choosing to support Nixon Kalinda now. And you know what again? The 11 years that Nixon Kalinda was not at the workplace on suspension. He didn't just sit down home, He was fine-tuning his heart. He has been working in a private capacity, dealing with industrial relation matters for several businesses and all that. So he has kept himself in tune in what's happening. Nixon Kalinda is the man, because of he negotiating with, when he was the General Secretary of PSA, because Drew put he out PSA to, he said, go and sit down in the square and do the work, But he's the man with us sit down with MIC and negotiate a 9% increase in salary for them when Drew sell you out for 5%. And because MIC is a bargaining unit at PSA, them couldn't get 9% and we get 5%. And then on top of that too, any job that we come and get 9%, worse yet, daily rated officers can get more than me. So Nixon Kalinda would have set the trend for the 9% that any job that was able to get 9% also. But he ain't going to talk about that. Could Oral negotiate anything? But let me ask him these questions, and I want him to respond. Oral Saunders, when he was a grievance officer in the PSA, what transpired in the lobby of the CPO office that led to your contract coming to an end before the expiry date? I wanted to tell us what transpired when he was a grievance officer, what transpired in the lobby of the CPO office, as in the days of Mr. Jennifer Baptiste Primus, that based on what happened there, they terminated the contract before the expiry date and they send you packing back to St. Anne's Hospital, where you are still today. Asking you, Like one. Question number 2. Were you responsible for any campaigning finances when you was with a team called Phoenix during the 2013 PSA elections? And if you were responsible for any campaign financing, when you get the monies, did you declare the monies to Team Phoenix? I wanted to hear it again because I want people to call them, let him listen. Me ain't come here to wild up nobody, insult nobody. I ask them questions. Because if you're talking about my character integrity, I tell you why. I tell only why I'm supporting Nixon Kalinda. And I ain't afraid to say why again, anybody asks me. I'm asking Oral Saunders again. Were you responsible for any campaign financing for Team Phoenix for the 2013 PSA election? And if you get any money, did you declare the money that you get to the Team Phoenix? That's question 2. Question 3. I wanted to tell the people how Watson Drew became the presidential candidate in the 2009 PSA election. What was your contribution to that? Because of that, Watson Solomon Drew remained in the PSA for 12 years. So I want you to tell the people how Watson Solomon Drew became the presidential candidate when all of us knew that you was going to be presidential candidate in 2009. How that switcheroo happened. 4. During your 4-month stint as the General Secretary in PSA under Duke in 2009, because you stayed for 4 months, you was given an instruction by the president, because in our constitution saying the president give you a directive, whatever, if you do not follow it, that you will be in breach, disciplinary action, because he gave you, well, lawful, of course. So I ask you, during your 4-month stint as the General Secretary at PSA, did Watson Solomon Drew, the president at the time, give you instruction to meet with one Mr. Baldwin to come up with an industrial relation plan for the IROs? And if that is true, where you went for the 4 days? And before you leave the PSA, when you say you're this great corruption buster, did you ever complete that plan? I wanted to tell people the truth now, because when they answer these questions, and I say when you're answering them, don't bob and weave. Don't try to use no reverse psychology and bring in the dog, the cat, and answer specific question, answer specifically to it. Because you see, people like you and others have a way when you're trying to dirty people name and character, or they just start to embellish things. I could stand on anything I do any day, anytime, anyway. And I've always had the interest of PSA at heart. Not the money, but seeing the union, because when I was at Cipriani Labour College and I did my thesis had to do with trade unions in a globalized world and the effect globalization have on trade unions, especially in small developing countries like Trinidad and Tobago. So because my research was data driven, so I had to read a lot. And then when I came into contact with people like Elmer Francois and Daisy Quick and Rabas Butler and the whole movement, how it happened, the hunger strike, the speeches made and all that. So I understood where our brothers and sisters back in the 30s and 40s, what they went through, that we today could enjoy 14 days sick leave, vacation leave, grievance procedure and all that. They didn't have those things. They didn't have no negotiating every 3 years. They didn't have that. So that is, and then I learned the history of the PSA, and I love history. This great organization to see crumble because of a man, a greedy, nasty man, Watson Solomon Drew, that you was responsible for him being president in the PSA. So my interest has always been, and yes, I would have come out several times and demonstrated with you. When they tell me to come out, I come out because I went out there to stand for PSA, not to stand for you. I was in support of the cause of PSA. And once it's the right thing and the right cause, I won't stand there with anybody who wants this PSA for labor. So I have nothing to be ashamed of. And I could be asked any question, and I'll be able to answer. But be truthful when they're trying to attack my character and my integrity or even my mental state. Because once people don't conform to the box or they put them in, or they just have to let people feel they're mad, something wrong with them. Because I have a voice, I just speak. It's not a closed pin. Right? I'm not afraid to voice my opinion. I'm not afraid to stand in a room and voice my opinion, because when I talk, I don't talk stupidness. If I have nothing to say, I keep quiet. So women like me, because at times you tell me I have no tact, but I wait to answer these questions and then I will tell people. I will tell, based on your responses to these questions, we're going to have a discussion. So my people, unfortunately, I am not having a long life today. But we will speak on Monday, God's Spirit. But I want the brother to answer them questions. Whether you want to make a live, that's quite okay. I just want to talk the truth. Me don't afraid the truth. I just afraid lie. And me don't lie on people. Talk the truth, Comrade Sanders. Talk the truth. Because your wife, you say what your wife say. If somebody is supporting you and now if something happening, support was never your friend. Come and talk the truth. Answer them questions. I'm repeating them. You could go and watch you live and listen to it just how I listen to your live. Right? And when you comment receipts. Because I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. I'm afraid to speak the truth.
Feel him coming. Feel him coming. Feel him coming.
People, let me see all who here. Helen, Joel, Anne-Marie, Peters, Deborah, Monica, Marcus, Gail, Colin, Marvin, Leon, Joseph, Daniel, Denise, Tessa, Sharon, Augustus, Angela, Roxanne, Anne-Marie, Gary, Marky, Margaret, Judy, Merle, Roslyn, Merle Lyons, Christopher, Cheryl, Kenneth, Carlton, Larry, Balti, Nadia, Sharon R. Williams, Marva, Cliffley, Margaret, Angela, Donna, Angela, Mel, Mila, Onika, Joycelyn, Hadara, Marie and Charles, and Emmeline, Sarah, Carol, Ingrid, Gloria, Brian, Robert, and Trinpan. Now, I ain't forget Miss Melka, let me get a song there one time. All those who celebrated birthdays and who are going to celebrate birthdays, all the Sajis in the house, all the Sajid, all the Scorpio in the house. This one, oh gosh, let me find it quick. Ooh, give me a minute. This is some Miss Melka and all the birthday people.
Travis. I feel the same. Sing happy birthday to you. Say happy birthday to you. Say happy birthday. Say happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. One more time, say happy birthday to you. Oh my God! Happy birthday to you. Say happy birthday. Say happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Welcome. Hey. So all my peoples, all who had birthdays, celebrating birthdays and birthdays that come, Miss Melba trying some wine there, darling, and damn right. So we go back to the regularly scheduled program because all they know. Roxanne.
Feel him coming.
One verse. When you have to make your best
on election day, our future will be set. If we don't make a mistake, we vote them on election day. Our life through my education. We hope to work a stronger nation. Election day, what is your future? Election day, what is the answer? On track, we're not going back.
Attract, turn it back. Attract, turn it back. Attract, turn it back. Oh,
people have a blessed weekend. Love you all, Miss Melka. Enjoy. All the birthday peoples, enjoy. Remember when you are going to march tomorrow for the truth, so that's all the business, that's all the right. But ask them union leaders to tell you what is the salary. Ask them who getting $90,000 a month. Ask them who getting between $83,000 to $88,000 a month of free money. And ask them why they doesn't come out by themselves and march on behalf of we. Yeah? Ask them those questions because the same man who lead the march, he tell we, warn we about Kamala Prasad sister. But they one she back and PSA when I march at UNC. But a sister stand up in Tobago. Just ask her a question decent and saying what you're doing is wrong here, but he's bring UNC into the PSA and all that. A big dotish man jump out of the fen, Leroy Batiste. Yeah? So men that stick together in this shit. I know the men in the We Talk D Ting not like that, they have a voice. They don't just take talk. I see when they marky something. Marky, I know you have a voice. Despite it might be different than what I say when you don't agree with me, I know you have a voice. I like you for that. You don't take chain up. You have your own voice. I like that. Any man you see that's come and listen to the We Talk D Ting is men who have their own voice. They don't mind having a disagreeing opinion. But it's a love at the end of the day. So people, I love you all. And again, tell Oral Sanders, I send them questions and you could go back and watch my live. I want them to answer me truthfully. I don't have a problem with that. Don't come at no trying to insult and character and use the one say, based on everything you say, that my character and my integrity. You call it out. Because of the fact I supporting Nixon Medical. And I tell the people why I'm afraid to say it today, tomorrow, and the next week. I ask you some questions and I hope you can understand. So people, have a blessed weekend, stay safe. Monday goes here, we go back to the normal thing, right? But I got to run because I got places to go. It's my birthday coming up, so I just enjoy my little, enjoy myself and thing, that kind of thing, pampering myself, liking myself. Because if you love yourself, nobody will love you, right? Love yourself, people. When you love yourself, you love your history, you love your culture, you love your ethnicity, you can love anybody else. And I love everybody because I love me. I love my Indian brothers and sisters. Or let have some of them dirty and bad. Chinese brothers and sisters, have some of them dirty and bad. Syrian, African, same damn thing. Human beings will be human beings. But at the end of the day, once you go with me, we good. And I want to see this country built. All races together. Even only Marky hand and all to build this country. Right? Just to tell you, because I don't take things personal. Just don't lie. Don't lie. I don't like liars at all. Oh, I love all you. I see all the money go scared. When I come with something fresh, something you just say, Jen, sister Jenny, Auntie Jen. I'm going to get for myself. Justice, equal right and justice, Rastafari. I go. Hey, Miss Nelson, happy birthday, darling. Hey, Jen, love you.
We vote in PNM on election day.
And the Douglas Crew, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Tune in each week for enlightening discussions, special guest interviews, on the scene coverage of news, political events, and all topics related to good governance. Watch the show live on our Bounce Up Central platform and social media channels, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Keep the conversation going, even after the show. Chat in real time on our 24-hour live chat on Bounce Up Central. For more news, informative content, entertainment, special events, discussion forums, Bounce Up Radio, TGIF watch parties, and to even bus a mark anonymously, visit our Bounce Up Central Community Hub, the platform that's We Ting, created for we, by we, Bounce Up Central Network. We ready to bounce up to Carnival 2025.
As we prepare for Bounce Up Carnival 2025, we want to make sure that you are also ready with us on the road, in the fets, in the clubs, Calypso, Down Skinner Park, Panyard, Peregrinades, Midnight Rubbers, even the barman, the bawa, what do you call him? The bow, what do you call him again? The barman, not the barman, the stick fighting. Yeah, stick fighting. So, get ready. 2025, we on the road. Bounce Up Carnival. Don't miss it. You dig?
For more news, informative content, entertainment, special events, tune in to Culture Point Show Thursdays at 8 p.m. and visit our Bounce Up Central Community Hub, the platform that's We Ting, created for we, by we.